Hey, welcome back everyone. We are approaching the middle of April and we're only getting closer to the official release of the full-length trailer of the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV series, which by the way is really going to feature a lot more sequences of Darth Vader, Kenobi, Owen Lars, and a lot more beloved characters in the franchise like never before. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way guys, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support. It is greatly appreciated. Now, given that we have a lot of things happening with the new Star Wars universe, given that we have a lot of Legends material approaching and mixing together with the current Disney canon material, and how that's going to blossom into something completely unique and original by George, Jon, and Dave, we have a lot of things in the works as well by Disney CEO Bob Chapek that's really coming into fruition and being worked on as we speak. So there's a lot of things happening over at Lucasfilm to really balance out the Star Wars universe, to really give fans an even approach to the franchise. You know, they've recognized that there's a lot of fans that left the series ever since the end of the sequel trilogy, and of course, ever since fans witnessed the firing of Gina Carano in such an improper way. Ever since those two big stamps in the Star Wars history book, right? We have seen a lot of fans leave the franchise, and that's exactly what Disney is trying to do. They are trying to bring back those fans, to bring them back in action, to actually be satisfied and witnessing all these new stories to be told. Now, with that being said, however, what's even all the more intriguing is exactly what Bob Chapek has in store for the new Star Wars universe. Now, given that Chapek is doing a lot of things at once between Marvel, Star Wars, Disney-related projects, and more to come as well, you know, this is a very busy guy, but keep in mind that this is the very person that is allowing Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni to do their work with Star Wars and really bringing things back to the roots of the franchise. So with that being said, however, what's even all the more interesting is that with the sets nearly complete for the Ahsoka Tano series, just before they begin filming, both Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are making big adjustments to the Star Wars universe behind the scenes in order to regulate the entire franchise. However, one thing that Disney CEO Bob Chapek has planned has a ton to do with the new Lucasfilm president to take over by the end of this year that will go into full effect by early 2023. Now, it's described that currently Bob Chapek is trying to convince Jon Favreau to make Jon Favreau as the new president of Lucasfilm in order to have him take care of Lucasfilm both on a business and creative level equally. Now, Disney is described to have a plan in order to convince Favreau to become the new Lucasfilm president by giving him a choice to make a final decision by this fall. Favreau is described to be honored by this offer to take over the company to lead Star Wars in a better direction. However, even if Favreau decided to accept this offer by later this year, it wouldn't go into full effect until the beginning of 2023, at which point in time, Disney plans on making George Lucas the temporary president of the company until the permanent fill-in takes place. So let me just stop right here for 1 second. Now, as much as I love Favreau, and as much as I do love the fact that Disney is allowing Favreau and Filoni to do as they please with Star Wars, I don't really see Jon Favreau making the choice to become Lucasfilm's president. Now, I could be totally wrong, but it just does not seem likely to me in my book. However, if Favreau decides to go through this route, they would really need another major writer to side with Dave Filoni. I can't see a world where Jon Favreau would be handling the business end of Lucasfilm and really leading that company on a business level entirely and having the time of day to write multiple Star Wars projects. I just don't see that. So it all depends on whether or not he wants to sacrifice certain things in his career. Moving on forward, now Favreau is described to be having a hard time on accepting or declining this offer, as it would interfere with his Star Wars projects that he would be writing with Dave Filoni. Now, Disney is said to recognize that Favreau has a good business mindset when it comes to Star Wars, and the same goes on a creative level. However, Favreau is described to be leaning toward declining this offer, as he loves writing Star Wars material instead of strictly producing it as itself. The plan by Disney would be that if Favreau signed on as the Lucasfilm president, he would be granted to be a producer for all of the Star Wars shows and films, and would hold creative power over many of those projects. Now, in the case Favreau signs on, he would still be calling the shots and giving the okays on what to do with the new Star Wars franchise moving forward. So, let me just stop right there for 1 second before we move on to the more important material, is that seems to be Disney's kind of offer there, is that, yes, if you sign on, you won't really have as much time anymore to make multiple Star Wars TV shows like you have now. But if you do sign on, you will be able to call the shots and pull all of these creative decisions on many of the TV shows and the films. So, he would still have a lot of creative pull and a lot of creative choices over these shows regardless, even if he does become the Lucasfilm president. That is Disney's overall plan. I still to this day don't see him becoming the president of Lucasfilm. I just don't see it. If anything, and if anything at all, it would probably be Dave Filoni at the bare minimum, or the two other candidates, and we're going to go over that in just a second. Now, Lucasfilm, of course, Kathleen Kennedy, is already aware of the entire situation and is described to be angry at Disney for moving forward with these plans. Now, Favreau has until this November to choose on if he wants to accept to become president or not over at Lucasfilm, to not only fix the franchise fully, but to also straighten out Lucasfilm as a company. Favreau is also aware of Disney's backup choices besides himself to become the new Lucasfilm president in the case if he declines this offer, and these two other candidates are said to be the big-time Hollywood producers that have worked on multiple franchises and blockbusters that have been wildly successful. Meanwhile, Bob Chapek is also working hard with George Lucas on the new live-action projects that are currently in the works that are to be announced at this year's celebration, and more so at the next Star Wars celebration that is currently being planned for 2023. Now, here's my take on this, alright? This is something very important that I think a lot of fans need to know, is that when you look at Jon Favreau, this is a guy that's very passionate. He loves Star Wars. He's not necessarily a sellout. He's not going to do certain things just for money or for offers that he gets. So, I don't really see him accepting the role of becoming the Lucasfilm president. Even though there is a big plan by Disney right now, they are offering him this. He's having a hard time on whether or not he wants to take this job or not, or whether or not it's going to upset the fans. Honestly, I think that, given that we are moving in a great direction so far, with Favreau and Filoni working together as a duo, and having George Lucas by their side, you can see that great things are coming. And by him signing on to becoming the new Lucasfilm president, it's possible it could interfere with that. I'm not saying it would be a bad thing for him to sign on, but it's possible it could interfere with that flow or with that momentum. Right now we have good momentum. Book of Boba Fett was a minor speed bump. Regardless, I think it had a lot to do with the fact that Robert Rodriguez, he was the executive producer for his episodes, strictly of course, and he had a lot of creative pull also on the direction of that TV show. And I think that's exactly why fans are a little confused over why would Favreau make such mistakes with the Book of Boba. I like the Book of Boba Fett, guys. I thought it was entertaining, but it had a lot of flaws in there. Let's be real. So that a lot had to do with Rodriguez, and Rodriguez is no more for The Mandalorian Season 3 and 4 and other Star Wars projects. So anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to morning.